This is Real Women, celebrating women in independent film. My name is Brenda Daly. I'm your host, and today I'm here with Marneen Lynne Fields, and this is International Women's Day. I know you won't see this on International Women's Day, but the fact that I have somebody here who is a actress, singer, songwriter, she publishes books, and she's also a stunt woman. So it's really good to have you here, Marneen.
I'm so thrilled to be here today. Actually, I'm a former stunt woman since 1991, but it is my background, and it's very, very exciting that I've climbed all these ladders in my career to get to where I'm at today.
Yeah, I think that being a stunt person, I know we have a mutual friend, Kim Renee, and I think doing the stunt work really brought a lot of people into the actual acting work because, you know, you really are an actor as a stunt person. You know, you do have to emote some sort of feeling, even if it's just movement. So I think that that's super important. And so you also wrote a book about it, right?
Yes, well, I've written a book on acting because I was acting in college, minoring in acting at Utah State on a gymnastics scholarship.
Oh, wow.
And back then in 1973, they didn't give women athletic scholarships in gymnastics. I was one of 3 in the United States that received one because I was able to do Olga Corbett type of moves. But acting was where my heart was, and I got into the Screen Actors Guild as an actress, and I was always interested in acting, even though I had this gymnastics talent. And so in the 1980s, I wrote a book. I started my book, The Elusive Craft of Acting and Actors Preparation Process, because I'm very Stanislavski and Chekhov trained. Mm-hmm. And I published the book a year and a half ago.
Oh, wow, that's
and it's
great.
Got all kinds of 5 stars on Amazon, and I definitely suggest picking up The Elusive Craft of Acting, an Actor's Preparation Process on Amazon, because it's going to give any novice actor, some people say every thespian should read that book, because you're going to get that Stanislavski and Chekhov background, and you're going to get everything on how to memorize your lines and blocking. And then I do throw in some stunt things, because when you're doing stunts, you're usually hitting your mark at high speeds and high distances, and
right. So when you're with your book, so is it basically it's a how-to for film acting, right? It's on stage
it's the
acting.
Craft of acting, and I'm theater trained with Chekhov and Stanislavski, and I was trained by the famous Jeff Corey, who discovered all your famous stars and was working right with them. Paul Newman, Jane Fonda, Dustin Hoffman. I'm out of that same group.
Oh,
and
okay.
he worked with me for 3 years extensively, along with Victor French, who was the co-star on Highway to Heaven and Little House on the Prairie with Michael Landon.
Uh-huh.
And Victor was an actor's actor and director, and I did another 3 years with him, and we did all kinds of theater. So I'm theater trained and with this extensive film background. So the book is going to cover both. It's going to cover film acting, but it's also going to cover the craft of acting, which is going to give you where you have developed the craft of acting, where no matter what's going on in your career or on the set that day, you're going to always feel proud of after you audition. You know, there's so many people, I didn't get it. But when you're working with the real craft, you're always getting it, even if they don't pick you.
Yeah, I think that things have evolved a little bit, only because my daughter and I talk about this, because she has an advanced degree in acting at the Academy of Dramatic Arts.
Fabulous!
Yes, so she's and she's very young, but the acting has evolved because everything's self-tape. So we always laugh about it, because self-taping is a completely different art than acting on a film set. So as an actor, you almost it's a big evolve for us, because yes, you still have to do the characterization. Yes, you have to do the breakdown. Yes, you have to know what comes before and maybe what comes after. There's certain things that you have to know as an actor in order to make it look and feel real. But I think the big thing today for new actors is they have to learn to self-tape first, really, which is kind of crazy to me.
Yeah, that's interesting because, there wasn't self-taping when I first started. It was all in-person auditions.
Right.
And, congratulations to your daughter. That's
It's a whole new world, isn't it?
Yes.
Like it's a whole new world. So I also want to talk to you because I know you're a singer, songwriter, and you've kind of revamped that whole career for yourself lately, and you're winning all kinds of awards, which you must be very proud of.
Yeah. What happened is I was a top Hollywood stuntwoman for 15 years. And I had a horrible car accident driving home one day,
Oh, no.
not stunt related. I did these just mind-blowing stunts. I was once coined Hollywood's original fall girl.
Oh, wow.
And I did 100 film and primetime TV shows, doubling all the famous women of the day and doing you can't believe what took place. So during the car accident, I was badly injured and I developed this, just horrific tumors. And so I went in thinking I would have one operation, life-threatening abdominal operation. I ended up over the course of 12 years having 5 major abdominal operations. They ripped everything out of me. I lost all of the internal bowel, intestines, the female, the appendix, and I was fighting for my life and bleeding to death. And the way that I healed that and got through that, I was healed by God as I got in touch with my childhood dreams, which I was a child musician. I played 3 instruments, the string bass, the clarinet, and the keyboards. And the day they passed out instruments and we did the first song, that was my favorite day. My dad was a famous country western singer. And so while I would crawl to the microphone. I was basically bedridden, sitting on pillows. I couldn't walk across the kitchen floor or sit on a hard surface. And I would crawl to the microphone and sing my heart out, vowing if I ever got on my feet again, I would be the famous singer that I wanted to be in my childhood. And so I got on my feet again. I just never thought I would become a composer also. But during those 12 years, I got my degree in script writing and also in music composition. I went back to school because I was also injured 3 years into my college degree and had an ankle operation and did all those stunts after an amazing, this ankle reconstruction surgery.
Right, so when you were talking about your accident, it wasn't like after being on set or anything, was it?
No, my accident, I was driving home one day and an uninsured motorist in a truck ran a red light in the rain and took the left side of my car off. And he just destroyed everything. He ripped every nerve, muscle, and tissue.
I feel like with you, you've kind of overcome a lot. There's always, life is a two-sided coin. You can't have good without bad. And sometimes when bad things happen, it makes you do the good things that you were meant to do. And I do believe it's fate. And because I lost my job of 22 years from COVID. And so this is why I made my feature film. Was something I always wanted to do, but I never really had the time or the energy. And so I do believe, I know you went through a lot of pain and suffering, but I think that somebody was trying to give you a huge message. The fact that you survived was a huge message for you, right?
Yeah, that just brings tears to my eyes. And I got in touch in the wake, of my childhood dream of music. And I said, that's what I'm going to do. I took keyboard lessons. And the surprise is when you stand at the microphone and you learn 150 cover songs of everyone, and you love music so much, is that you're given the gift of melody. And, then I was just writing lyrics. I wasn't composing anything, but I would wake up in the middle of the night and I would write, this strong attraction between us cannot be denied, not until I'm in your arms will I truly feel alive. I can blame it on the moon and the stars while my passions run wild. I'm caught up in uncontrollable ecstasy and only your touch can set me free. I was waking up during these surgeries, going to the pencil and writing these amazing lyrics. So one day I met a man in a printing shop, and I was printing new headshots, and he said he's a composer. I said, well, I write lyrics. He says, well, let's see if you can put some lyrics to one of my songs. So he recorded me, and after he recorded me, he says, why do you call yourself an actress when you're a singer? And all I ever wanted to do was sing. My whole life since I was a young child, that's all I ever wanted.
I think, too, it's really nice to have somebody that you don't know. I think that's where your biggest compliments come from, because your friends and your family will love everything you do. But people that are really from the outside looking in, they see potential in you that sometimes we don't see in ourselves. So if you had something to recommend to somebody who's just starting out, or maybe want to go to another part of their life and go to that creative side, I mean, what advice would you give them?
Well, what I would say is that what they say is that what you're doing in your free time and what you love to do, that's where you should turn. And see, my love of music and my love that just wanting to sing but never thinking, I can remember standing in my closet as a young girl and singing very softly Diana Ross. I had a fascination with African American female vocalists, and I still do today.
I think there's something about the dynamics or their church, or I feel like they're
better.
They just get blessed. It's the dynamic of their voice. There's something very blessed about. I don't know if it's just been hundreds of years of pain and suffering, or there's something about the dynamic of a black woman's voice that just gets your chills, and you feel
and
the
Patti
pain.
LaBelle, and then
you feel
Whitney
the pain,
Houston
and
came on the scene.
The talent is just off the
and
charts.
Mariah Carey, House
Yes.
Black. And so I was just basically Pat Benatar voice. And then Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston came on, and I would sit down to write those years. And every time a song came on the radio, I'd have to sing the song. So I would get up and, but the love was there, and my soul needs to sing. And I will continue to sing my songs, the demos. If I make it real big, then other people, bigger stars, can sing my songs.
I think it's, and the songwriters are the ones that make all the money in that industry. But I actually trained professionally for 7 years.
Wow.
So, and then I got pregnant and had 3 children.
That's great. But, I want to hear you sing.
I was trained very musically theater, but my vocal coach was actually a opera singer. She was in the Metropolitan Opera.
Fabulous.
So I feel like I'm a lot rusty. Like I've been trying to make a tape for my Actors Access, but I kind of got beat up a little bit by my acting coaches on Hollywood Winners Circle, but they're right. So I got to go back and do it again. But yes, singing is something that once you do it, and I think that all goes hand in hand with being an actor, because being an actor, and you're singing a song, you have to emote it for your audience, because they do, even if they're a million feet away, they will feel it just based on your body language. And I think that all goes hand in hand, because that's like the ultimate creative. And I feel like with your writing a song, it was something always in you. It's just that you were giving yourself permission to succeed in adverse situations. Don't you feel that way?
Oh yeah, it was, and that's, so when you say the advice, okay, first finding what you love, but then you have to practice. You have to keep practicing, and you have to follow through on what you're doing. It's just not going to happen on its own. So you get your training or you get your degree, and then you learn to network and you learn to follow through. That a lot of times, like I had so many and still do, got 65 original songs laying there. And now I say, okay, finish one, then finish the next one, then finish the next one.
I think that's the hardest thing for anybody who's creative, like really focusing on that one thing. Like sometimes I'm so doing so many things that it's like it makes me crazy, and then it's like I'm never going to finish this if I do these 10 other things. And I do agree I really do believe that, like, the more creative you are, the more stuff you're doing, and you need to as my CBS coach told me, you need to compartmentalize sometimes and say, okay, what's the most important thing on the list? Finish that, because people always want to know, are you going to finish?
Right, and to work toward the finish line. And I actually now onward toward the finish line on every single thing. And I noticed that you wanted to mention the women that had influenced me in film.
Yes. So the question is what woman in film, and it can be in any job. It could be your mom if she's not in film, but she loved film. Anybody who's really influenced you that made you feel like, I can do this.
Well, I wanted to talk about my mom a little bit because my mom was the first one to write a screenplay and also write a song. And she passed that on to me. And she loved, the music was always in my house because my dad being a singer and everything. And she passed that on to me. But once I took on work as a stunt woman, I was doubling the most famous women in the world.
Right.
And I met Shirley Jones, and you can still see my face today. It looks quite a bit like Shirley Jones. And her carriage, everything about her was just flawless. And then also Jane Seymour. I doubled Jane Seymour on early Battlestar Galacticas. And so these women influenced me. And I just was happy at that point teaching gymnastics, doing gymnastics and stunts, and taking smaller acting roles stunt acting roles,
right,
whenever I would get them. I was totally happy. It was the accident that changed everything, and meeting these other women that made me think then, oh, I'm dressed like her, I can do this, and it made me strive for so much, and the changes with the accident and everything, I had to keep reinventing myself.
And I think that's true life. So you mentioned Jane Seymour, and she's in a show called Be Positive. Have you seen it?
Oh, she's amazing.
Oh, she's and it would not be a role that you would think that she would take.
I know, and she's so great in it, isn't she?
I just love her, and I love the fact that she just went there.
Yeah.
Because it's about people in a nursing home, and she makes it look so elegant and so fun. And I had to convince my husband that was Jane Seymour. I go, this woman is amazing,
she's brilliant,
and she's reinventing herself even as an actor today, because she always played the ingenue roles. And look at her,
she has a hit film out right now called Ruby, which was my mom's name. And so it was because I was around the top A-list celebrities. I worked opposite in scenes of Jeff Goldblum when he was young, and opposite in scenes of Dick Van Dyke and Clint Eastwood. And I mean, the biggest stars in the world. And here I am, cast in a role where I had a line or two and then did the stunt. And it was just, you just can't believe it. And then the accident took all of that, and I lost everything.
I think too, because you were talking about taking one or two line roles, there are actors out there that make a very good living on those roles, and you are a working actor. Even if they don't know what your name is,
I did make a very good living. I
think it's very important for people to understand that acting is not about becoming famous. Acting is about doing a job just like any other job, but doing it to your best of your ability, and your time will come. You just have to really focus on that.
Well, now, 2 books about my life and career have landed large publishers. Cartwheels and Halos, a true Marneen Lynne field story, has landed TVN's Trilogy Publishing. They have a 2 billion audience. Both these books will publish in 2022. And that's the book. It's a spiritual book where I found God through my accident and the surgeries and what happened. Then my filmography, which is 100 films, primetime TV shows, and with these famous superstars, that's been picked up by Britain Publishing, and that's Rolling with the Punches with the Hollywood Fall Girl.
I love that. And I feel like I think you should really go out and buy those books, because I think it's very inspirational, because it's not, like I said, it's really not about being famous. It's about doing a good job and making whatever you're doing better and being part of the team.
And it is so inspirational. And I've written the stories of what I did in these 100 films. Like I did when First Interstate Bank building was the tallest building in Los Angeles. I jumped off First Interstate Bank building in a negligee and slippery slippers with the little high heels.
I hope you have pictures.
Before they had, and that was before they used cables. So I was on the very, very tip of that, the highest, 86 stories.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so I talk about each of these jobs, and you think, Oh my God, but they're all SAG, and like she mentioned, and Kim Renee, who's the Nevada SAG president and our friend, they are, in order to be a great stunt woman, you also have to be able to be an actress, because you sell the stunt, screaming, or your face is always turned, but the body language. So I can't wait. Now, Rolling with the Punches with the Hollywood Fall Girl is just 2 or 3 months away from publishing. It'll publish first. Cartwheels and Halos will publish next. And it's a very big year for me, and it's 45 years in the making.
I think that that's fantastic, and I feel like hopefully people will watch this and know that you can do anything at any age. I think you just have to really pick yourself up, get rid of the white noise, and just believe in yourself, because look at what powerful women that Marneen is, and then other people that we've known. I've known a lot of people that started later in life. The guy I just interviewed, he said he started in 2018 as an actor, and he can't stop working. And he's 57 years old. It's like, you can do anything. You just have to go do it. Don't listen to the white noise. There's so much negativity out there, and people are going to say things, but that's because they're not believing in themselves, so they have nothing better to do but to knock you down. And I don't think that is the way the world should be. And I feel like Marneen, when she's writing her book, she's telling people that you can do it. Look how many times she's reinvented herself. She is literally the person that if you're going to emulate yourself, she's the one.
Oh, how nice.
And yeah. I feel like, you do have to faith and believe in who you are. And, it's been so great. I mean, is there anything else that you want to tell people? Because I know we're going to put all the links down in the bottom of this page. And please subscribe. We want to make sure this channel keeps going, because we want to have inspirations like Marneen here. So is there anything else you want to tell us?
Well, I just want to say that, wow, what an interview. You're fabulous.
Thank you.
And when she mentioned, I know men in their 60s that are just starting to act because they've entered Social Security, and they now have the time, and they're going like crazy.
And it's amazing. It's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
It is. It is. It's great. I didn't expect to become an author. I've always been a scriptwriter and a composer.
Right.
A songwriter. And this big surprise is, it's much different, right? These are 2 novels. They're both 400 pages and it's over 70,000 words. And they're big books. And so that's, I think, but let's go back to Jane Seymour just for a minute, because she's a perfect model for this, to go forward and, evolve. Sure, she's had the opportunities, most people will never have, but she's also, continued on. And same with Meryl Streep. Look at her, still acting today. And yes, she's supposedly the best or whatever, but she didn't let age stop her.
And she didn't let anybody's negativity stop her, because she was being passed over because she was told somebody said she wasn't pretty enough. And to me, that's just, especially in today's age, it's not about how you look. It should not be about, you are uniquely you, and there's nobody else like you. And so I've learned that with the program that I'm taking, HWC, that there's a part for everybody. And I love the fact that somebody in their 60s would reinvent themselves, because it's not just about reinventing yourself. It's re-educating yourself on that part of you that you never knew you had. And so you're growing, and you got to just continue to grow in whatever you do. I don't care if it's just growing a garden. Just grow for yourself, because you have this one life, and you should make it as fantastic of an journey as you can.
That's a great point. You have a right to have the best life you can create for yourself. And I just want to congratulate you, the web series, the film,
Thank you.
Rogue Angel. I mean, you are in a great position now. You have created those.
Please hire me.
In them. It's great. It's fantastic. And, quite wonderful achievements.
Well, this is Brenda Daly, and this is Real Women Celebrating Women in Independent Film, or all film. I am so excited to have Marneen Lynne Fields here, because I feel like it was really important to talk to you. And I feel that this particular program needs to continue on at some other time. I feel like maybe part of a panel of women.
Oh, that would be awesome.
So I would like to do something like that, maybe with me, you, Kim, and maybe Tamia and Julie would be great. and do something like that. We just had to make more room in Stephen's little office. But this is Brenda Daly with Real Women, celebrating women in independent film. And today we celebrated Marneen Lynne Field.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.